If I make this, Seattle is winning the Super Bowl. They're not winning. They're not winning. Sorry, Seattle.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Ty Talk Sports here is back with another video with the man Michael. As you guys remember at the start of the year, we did the AFC and NFC predictions, and looking back on it, that was a really fun video, and we're back at it again. Hopefully those takes aged well. We know how they aged, and some of them were...
We were dead wrong about the Rams.
Yeah, that was bad. We had them 13-4. We had Tampa Bay at 12-5. It was not some of our best work right there, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about it's playoff season.
Yep.
Who doesn't love the playoffs? So we got our predictions right here, and we're gonna get to it.
Yep.
So we're gonna do the NFC wild card, then the AFC wild card, NFC, then divisionals, AFC. You get the drill. So we'll start off with the NFC wild card matchups, and we'll go ahead and kick it off with your Seattle Seahawks facing Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers in Levi Stadium. My points for this is just that it's two of these quarterbacks' first playoff games, so there's probably going to be a little bit of nerves right there. But when you look at the playmakers on the field, 49ers have all of them on both the offense and defense, and it's going to be an early jump for San Fran from the get-go. They'll jump out to, I think, an early 10-0 lead, and Seattle will try and chip back at it. But CMC, I think, is going to have a good game against y'all's weak rushing defense, having 100 yards and a TD, and I think Brock Purdy will have a little nice playoff debut for 2 touchdowns. And my score prediction is going to be San Francisco 30, Seattle 17, sending the Niners to the divisionals.
I'm going to keep mine short and sweet. Here's what I have to say. Seattle wins this. I truly believe it. It's not because I'm a fan. I think Mr. Irrelevant becomes Mr. Irrelevant. I think the Cinderella story is over. I think Seattle pulls the biggest upset of wild card weekend. Seattle wins this one 24-21. Go Hawks.
We have hot takes right off the bat, and what do you not love about that? Starting with the second matchup, we got the G-Men, who haven't been to the playoffs since 2017, versus the Vikings, who you predicted to win the division.
I did.
And that take aged like fine wine.
And I'll say this. If Minnesota was playing any other team, I would pick them to lose.
Yep.
But because they play the Giants, Minnesota wins this one.
Yep.
I think by under 10 points.
Yeah, I actually have it as a 10-point even, 31-21. If it wasn't the Giants, as you said, this is an L for the Vikings. I mean, they have not proven to beat big teams all season, and they struggle with this team in the regular season. And honestly, I'm not going to be surprised if this turns out to be an upset, but I just don't really see it happening. I think Justin Jefferson's going to shine in his first playoff game, but and Saquon will have a nice one as well, but the Giants aren't ready yet.
No.
I think they have a young team, but they're not ready.
They're
so,
not ready.
Minnesota. Now,
Up next.
this one's going to hurt my soul. It hurt my soul typing this one on the dock last night. Dallas versus Tampa Bay. I'll just go and say it. Dallas isn't winning this one. Their secondary is not strong enough for Tom Brady and this stacked wide receiver room. I mean, anyone not named Trayvon Diggs is a liability, and sometimes Diggs can be a liability in the coverage as well, especially when he bites on double moves. I've seen too much Dallas football to know that this is not going to go their way, and this is Tom Brady in a home game against a secondary who has not played their best football at all this year. So many injuries. It's just, I don't see it working. This passing attack is going to be too much for Dallas, and it's going to be close. I think we'll have some fireworks, but at the end of the day, Tom Brady is going to remind everyone why he's the GOAT, and it's going to be 27-24 Tampa Bay.
As much as I want to agree with you,
No way.
and I never do this
This is a shocker.
because I want to see you melt down watching Dallas lose. Dallas ain't losing this football game.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
And I do not root for Dallas in any form.
He's the biggest Cowboys hater.
But in my opinion, if Tampa Bay was in any other division in football,
They wouldn't make the playoffs.
they would not be a playoff
Yeah.
team. Dallas wins this. Dak finally this solidifies his extension in the offseason.
I hope you're right.
And Tom Brady finally loses to the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's 2017, though. I think it's low-scoring game. I think Dallas defense shows up. I think Micah Parsons has a big game.
Dude, I hope you're right.
Which then will set up, we'll get into it for the next round, the Seattle Seahawks playing against the Eagles.
If you're right, I'm going to be so happy. I don't even care if my take's going to age poorly. I really hope that the Cowboys pull this off because I think the only playoff win I've seen in my lifetime as a fan is when we actually beat you guys that one year when we lost to the Rams in the divisional 2018. So starting off now with the AFC matchups, we're going to kick it off with Miami versus Buffalo. I have a little paragraph, but we're going to keep it short and sweet. Tua is now out. For this game, which is really all you need to say.
Buffalo by 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
Buffalo by 20. Yeah, next game.
It's that easy.
Yeah. So, Baltimore versus Cincinnati. Lamar Jackson is back.
Is he back?
This is what they've been saying, but
I saw he missed practice.
I did see that.
As of today, as this is being filmed,
yes.
He missed practice. I think it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Cincinnati wins this football game.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Joe Burrow's...
He's too good. He's on a stretch.
He's back.
I think...
My take was wrong with the...
I remember, you told me that Cincinnati was not a playoff team, and he told me like 5 weeks in the season, he's like, no chance they make the playoffs. I think they're the hottest team in football right now. Their passing attack is... It's too dang good, man. Cincinnati 27, Baltimore 17. This one's a fun game to predict. Jacksonville versus the Chargers. I think that if you're looking at a team of last year's Bengals who's getting hot at the right time, who's getting healthy at the right time, I look at the Chargers. Justin Herbert is a stud in the making, but they got a really good rushing attack as well with Joey Bosa not coming back. But Jacksonville, they kind of shocked a lot of people.
Let me say this. I picked a NFC upset.
Yep.
Here's my AFC. Duval upsets the LA Chargers. Here's why. All right, I'm not from Florida. I lived in Florida. Those fans in Duval County,
they are something different.
At Jacksonville are going to be crazy.
They're going to be loud. This is the first time that they've won the division. Is it since they had Saxonville, and that was a crazy team. And
I don't know how they do it. Jacksonville wins this football game, and honestly, I will tell you how they do it. The defense.
Their defense has been playing great.
Yep.
Josh Allen has been taking over that defense, and there's some young pieces too. You got to look at Trayvon Walker, who has not really made a impact that is so star-studded. Look at this, but he's making an impact. He's a big pass rusher who I think is only going to get better as time goes on. But I actually have a different pick. I have the Chargers. I think that Justin Herbert has played in enough big games to where this isn't really a factor for him. He's played in tough environments, and I think he's going to go in there, and I think he's going to be calm, he's going to be cool, and he's just going to be ready to take over this football game. I think he's going to have a great opener. I think he's going to have 3 TDs. One of those is going to go to Austin Eckler, and I think he'll also add a rushing touchdown. It's going to be back and forth, but Chargers are going to ultimately get the W in the end. Chargers 28, Jacksonville 24.
I do think it's high scoring.
It's going to be fun.
But, no matter what, this sets up our matchup for the Chiefs. Because if Chargers win, they play Chiefs.
Yep.
If Jacksonville wins, they play Chiefs.
Yep.
Unless Baltimore or Miami upsets the world, which I don't see happening.
No, I do
so
not
then
see
we move on to divisional, where you have Buffalo versus the Bengals.
This one, let's start off with the Damar Hamlin situation because, this on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago, it was expected to be the game of the year, to be honest. These two teams, there was so much on the line. It was absolute, these two teams were the hottest guys in the NFL right now. Burrow and Allen, this was supposed to be phenomenal. And then we have the tragic incident of Hamlin, which has now turned into such a hope and a bright spot. It's such a beautiful story. It
is.
But
prayer works.
Yes, and God has really been showing his impact through him and through the league, and it's been such a beautiful sight to see. It was such a high-emotion game. And it's going to be the same thing, I think, going into this game. There's going to be so much emotion because, these were the teams that it faced with. The emotions are going to be high, and it's going to be a great atmosphere. And I think it's going to go the way I expected Monday Night Football to go. I think the Bengals are going to keep rolling. Yes, I understand that there's going to be a lot of emotion from the Bills and that they're going to be fighting to play for Damar and for the whole situation. But my headline here is I have it as the game of the year. You guys remember Kansas City, Buffalo divisional? It's going to be just like this. I think it's going to be fireworks. The QB receiver duos are going to be lighting it up. It's going to be touchdown points. And I think this is not only going to be a 60-minute football game. I think we're going to get extra minutes. I think but we're going to see the first real applying of the rule that was created last year for the coin toss And we're going to see it in full effect as Buffalo will actually get the first points on the board, and Joe Burrow will lead a cool drive, and Zach Taylor will have the call of the year, and not going for the extra point, but he's going to go for 2, and Joe is going to take it in himself for the win. I got it to be a high-scoring 43-42.
I agree, high-scoring game, but I picked Buffalo. I think the emotion of Hamlin is what will carry this team through the playoffs.
And I won't be surprised if that happens.
They have something to fight for other than the game itself, and that's the powerful thing. Buffalo wins this football game. And then when I move on to Kansas City, Jacksonville, your road's over. It could be, I don't care who it is. Kansas City's going to win this by more than 10 points. I mean, it won't even be close.
I got a fun one. It's Chargers AFC West matchup. These two, every time these two teams play, we're in for a treat, and it's going to be nothing but the same. But I expect Herbert and the Chargers to pull off the upset. I think it's going to be crazy. I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the better defense. And when you look at the talent that's on the Chargers defense, they have the better talent. And I think at the end of the day, that pass rush between Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack is going to be what causes the collapse in the end, where Mahomes is going to be in a position where he's not comfortable. And with the pass rush coming on him, he's going to throw a late interception to Asante Samuel Jr., and that's going to lead the Chargers to the huge upset win, leading for me Cincinnati versus the Chargers in the AFC Championship.
Bouncing over to NFC, now we have Seattle and the Eagles. Seattle loses big time here. The Cinderella story is over for my Seahawks. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, they do it. They win.
For my Eagles matchup, I have them going against Tampa Bay, and I think it's going to be all about the ground game. That's what they've gone to all year, and that's what's going to continue working for them against a pretty decent Tampa Bay run defense. And I just think that running team, they're going to run the floor. Jalen, Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, they're going to have 150 rushing yards combined, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Jalen's going to have a good day. I think A.J. Brown will as well. 34-21. It's going to be a bigger gap than we're expected. But yeah, Philly easily.
The Minnesota Cowboys rematch for me. Minnesota is going to be on the take of they destroyed us in the regular season.
Yeah.
Minnesota gets back at them. Minnesota wins the football game against the Dallas Cowboys. And then we dumb boys are going home. So
I mean, hey, we want a playoff game if that's really what happens. But
it's so sad what y'all have come to.
Yeah, right. I think if that happens, I think it's just another all-out game. I don't think it's as all-out as that last one, but I think it still goes Dallas's way. But that's not my prediction. I have Minnesota versus San Fran. I think that the Brock Purdy Cinderella story continues. I think especially that defense, they have some rushers. They have Zadarius Smith. They have Danielle Hunter as well as Pat Pete, but it's just there's too much to account for. I think there's just so much that the ball can go to anyone. It's really just hard to stop, and I think that the 49ers defense room is going to shut down their run game. I think Justin Jefferson will do pretty decent, but I think this is going to be too much, and I think honestly Minnesota is going to have a low-scoring game, another one of their low ones as they only put up 14 points, and San Francisco wins 24-14.
We'll just stay in the NFC with the championship. For me, it is the Eagles versus the Minnesota Vikings. Eagles advance to Super Bowl. You will see primetime Kirk Cousins, not 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins.
What a shocker.
And he will, I will say this. I do expect him to not play good in the divisional, but I think he somehow does it. But there's no way he can play bad and win against Philly. Philly's too dominant of a football team. Philly advances to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, who in my opinion is MVP. So that's my NFC. Ty, what you got?
I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit of a slacker for the Eagles because I got San Fran still riding all the way because San Fran is such a strong rushing defense that they're going to know how to kind of put up with this team who loves to run the football. They're going to be able to limit that. And as Mike said, you can't play bad against Philly and win. Philly's a team you cannot let mistakes fly, and San Fran is not going to let mistakes fly. I think that it's just going to continue rolling. No limited run defense. I think Purdy's going to play short. He's not going to play long because they do have a very good secondary and a good defense, one of the best in the league, and I think he's going to play a little safe. I really like the Eagles' offensive line versus the 49ers defensive line matchup. I think that's a really fun one. You got guys like Lane Johnson, Nick Bosa, Jason Kelsey. It's a fun one. But San Fran continues the Cinderella story of Brock Purdy, advancing to their second Super Bowl in 4 years. The final score 27-20 to the Super Bowl.
That brings us to the AFC for me.
Yes.
Where you have Bills, Chiefs, Buffalo. Buffalo keeps riding. Buffalo keeps winning because Buffalo is the best team in the AFC. In my opinion, Buffalo beats Kansas City.
They get their revenge.
They finally get the revenge. They finally get that taste out of their mouth. They finally get over the Kansas City Chiefs hump that they could not do in years past. And I think you're looking at a score in like the 27-32 range, something like that.
High scoring.
High scoring, low 30s, high 20s, but Bills will win this game.
Yeah. I have Cincinnati versus the Chargers. The second time Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert have faced off in their careers, the two headliners of the 2020 draft class, especially in the quarterback room, who are now franchise guys for the rest of their career. It's going to be a fireworks show. Both of these guys, I mean, they have elite wide receiver rooms, elite running backs. What can you not like if you're a guy who likes points? So at the end of the day, I think it's just going to be a classic. I don't think it'll be to OT, but I think it's going to be 27-all with about a minute left, and Joe Burrow is going to prove us why he is Joe Shiesty. He's going to set up Evan McPherson for an easy 43-yard chip shot as he sends him to the Super Bowl as time expires. Something we have never seen before. Never.
I want to ask this question.
Yes.
I can't remember. All right, I will admit I did not watch our prediction video at the end of the year because we filmed it.
Yeah.
But who did you pick to win the Super Bowl for beginning of the year?
I think both of us said that the Rams or the Bills were probably going to go back to it.
Tyler is not a man of his word. He doesn't even have the Bills in.
Hey, ages.
That is true.
A take ages throughout the season. I mean, we both said Rams 13-4, 1 seed. Who would have thought that Baker Mayfield would be the starter?
It was really hard for me to root against Baker.
I know. I loved watching that Thursday night football game. I was so excited. But
Super Bowl for me, Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles.
This would be a fun matchup.
Super Bowl. The best Super Bowl we'll see. Last year's was good.
Last year's was really good.
I think this year may beat it because Josh Allen and the Bills beat the Eagles and are finally Super Bowl champs. And the city of Buffalo deserves it.
They do.
They deserve it.
They have such a history of losing Super Bowls to the Dallas Cowboys. And, man, all the heartbreak they've been through in the last few years with not getting over the Kansas City hump. And then adding the DeMar Hamlin situation, there's just this is an emotional city who deserves such a high.
The Bills were my preseason pick. I've rode with them all year.
I like that.
Go Bills.
I got Cincinnati versus San Fran, and I think it's going to be actually a little bit of a low scoring game. I have a whole essay here, but I'm definitely not going to read that. It's going to be low scoring at the start. I think there's going to be more points going on in the second half, but at the end of the day, the revenge tour is here, and it is successful. I think Joe Burrow is going to get his first Super Bowl ring. I think something that I look at in the 49ers defense is, yes, they have a very good run defense, but there's not really a lot of huge names on the secondary that I really like. Like when I look at the matchups, who's going to cover Jamar Chase? But then your second best guy's got to be T. Higgins, who we know could be a wide receiver one in at least half the leagues. Tyler Boyd is obviously a great third option. It's just, I think Joe Mixon will definitely not have a great game. I think he's going to thrive in the passing game, but I think Joe Shiesty is here, and he's finally going to get that taste out of his mouth as that adjective that you used, and he is going to be around for a long, long time. I got Cincinnati winning Super Bowl 57, 24-20, ending Mr. Irrelevant's Cinderella story.
Here's what I do know. No matter if you're right or if I'm right, it's playoff time.
It's exciting.
It's going to be great.
It's the best time to be a football fan. What a regular season.
Yep.
Can't believe how fast it went by. I mean, it was 4 months ago that we filmed those videos, and then
blink of an eye.
Now we're here.
Flies when you're having fun.
So it's very, very exciting. We'll be providing updates and doing all that we can for you guys. And until then, this is Ty Talk Sports and Michael. His description, social medias down below. They're in the comments. Go hit him up, hit him a follow, because I appreciate everything that he's done for me and all the stuff that he does for this channel. So
it's fun times.
It is. So enjoy the playoffs. Until then, we'll be here.
Go Hawks.
Go Cowboys. I really hope we beat Tampa. I hope you do. Until then, this is Ty Talk Sports and Michael signing off.
See ya. I can't make it. I'm just not good at this on even close. They're winning. They'll win a playoff game. Because if I made one.
He makes this one, they're going to win a playoff game.
Hey!
Okay.
Watch out, San Fran.
No chance.